Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Abortion Access in Maryland webinar. This is a recorded webinar that you are seeing right now. We're going to introduce ourselves real quick and then we'll get into it. But my name is Ashlyn. I am the president of Sex Week at Maryland, which is a student-run organization on campus, and we're essentially devoted to promoting inclusive and intersectional sexual health education, sex positivity, and sexual assault awareness to the UMD community and beyond. So this week currently is our it is our annual Sex Week. And so this year it's going from April 12th to the 16th, and it's usually around April 10th, which is National Youth HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. So today is Monday of Sex Week, and this will probably be going up later this week. So really happy that y'all are watching this, and if the other Sex Week members want to introduce themselves real quick, that would be great.
Yeah, so I'm Breannah. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the vice president of Sex Week.
Hi, I'm Diana. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a general body member of Sex Week and excited to be here with everybody.
Hi, folks. I'm Erin. I'm the Access Team Project Manager at NARAL Pro-Choice Maryland. And I'm excited to be joining you all today to talk a bit about abortion access here in Maryland. So I've been working around abortion access for about 5 or 6 years now. And I'm always excited to join new groups and talk a little bit about the work that I do.
Awesome. So let's get into this webinar. So Breannah, you can start off with the first question we have.
Yeah, and first I just want to thank Erin for being here. And our first question for you is abortion legal in Maryland?
So next slide. So the short answer is yes, abortion is legal in Maryland. Abortion is legal everywhere in the US. Unfortunately, legal and accessible are not the same thing. So that is where things get more complicated. So although abortion is legal everywhere in the United States, there are many states right now that are trying to do things to make it more challenging to access abortion care. There are currently 5 states in which there's only 1 abortion clinic available in that state. It is looking likely that some of those states may no longer have an abortion provider within the next year or so. We're very lucky here in Maryland because we actually have very good access compared to many of the states around us. So in 1991, we actually codified Roe v. Wade, which means that even if Roe v. Wade is overturned at a federal level, meaning that there's no longer an expectation that there is abortion available in every state, we will maintain the same level of access that we have now. So folks will still be able to access abortion care here, and that will be legally required by our state. So we're extremely lucky because we will maintain that access, and we're one of, I think, 16 states that is in that position right now. We have 21 abortion providers in our state, which is more than I would say most of the states that surround us, especially given how small of a state we are. We have, of those, 2 are hospital-based providers, 13 are independent abortion providers, and 6 are Planned Parenthood clinics. So hospital-based providers are great because they can provide wraparound care, meaning they're able to do some case management. They can really support the patients that are coming in, but they do tend to be more expensive. So generally folks are only able to access care at a hospital if they're being supported by insurance, because it is generally a pretty expensive procedure at a hospital. Independent abortion providers actually serve 3 out of every 5 people who has an abortion here in the US. So they're a really, really important part of the abortion access landscape. And like I said, they do make up the majority of the abortion providers here in Maryland as well. And they're especially important when we think about later abortion care. So abortion care that's taking place in the late 2nd trimester or early 3rd trimester, because they make up 81% of abortion care after 22 weeks gestation. So independent abortion providers, although I think they don't get as much credit as they deserve, they are so important to the abortion access landscape nationwide and here in Maryland. And then we have 6 Planned Parenthood clinics in Maryland that provide abortion care. There are 9 total health centers, 6 of which provide abortion care in Maryland. However, 4 of the 6 only provide medication abortion. So medication abortion is a combination of 2 pills, which is accessible up to 10 weeks gestational age. Medication abortion is available at home. So you take the first pill in the clinic and the second pill at home. It's often something people choose because it feels more private. You know, you're able to be at home where you're comfortable while you're going through your abortion care. But like I said, it's only available up to about 10 weeks. So for many folks, they're not able to access medication abortion, and surgical abortion is the option that makes the most sense for them, or in-clinic abortion is how we generally refer to it. Obviously, Planned Parenthood provides a ton of other super important services. We love Planned Parenthood. You know, they do STI testing. They help with contraceptive access. They, you know, do breast cancer screenings. They do a ton of really important work. And so we're so grateful to all the work that they do. Here in Maryland, access is legal up to viability. So viability is the point at which a fetus would be able to survive outside of the parent. So viability is generally seen as being about 24 weeks, but it does vary pregnancy to pregnancy and even in terms of where you're located. So some hospitals are able to take care of earlier babies better than others, right? In terms of how much equipment they have available to them, the level of expertise that's offered there. And that's something that Maryland recognizes, which is something that we really value. They recognize that viability is something that varies pregnancy to pregnancy. And so although abortion access is available up to viability, unlike many other states, they have not set a specific date on when a pregnancy becomes viable. So they haven't said after 24 weeks, abortion is no longer accessible in the state of Maryland. They have said abortion is accessible up to viability, and viability is determined by a doctor. So that means that there is some more flexibility based on what a doctor determines to be when a fetus becomes viable. Maryland does require parental notification, meaning that if a minor, someone under 18, is seeking abortion care, one or more of their legal guardians is required to be notified that they are seeking abortion care. However, unlike other states that require parental notification, we do have physician's bypass. And that means that if a doctor deems that the minor is capable of giving informed consent and mature enough, or that it would not be in their best interest to notify the parent, or that notifying the parent would cause them to be susceptible to abuse, then they can give an exemption and make it so that they do not have to notify their parent. Other states require judicial bypass, meaning that the minor has to go before a judge and argue why they shouldn't have to notify their parent or ask for consent from their parent. And as you can imagine, that's a much more challenging circumstance for a lot of young people. It's much easier to be able to just talk with your doctor about what your concerns are than it is to have to go before a judge and be in front of people and talk about this very personal thing that you're concerned about. So thankfully, Maryland has made it much easier than a lot of other states with a similar law for folks to be able to get that exception. Folks do come to Maryland to access care from lots of other states. And that's because we do have access to later abortion care. So care for folks who are in their late second trimester of pregnancy. So, 20 to 24 weeks, as well as people who are in their early third trimester of pregnancy, 24 weeks and up. We have a clinic here in Bethesda that serves folks who are, for example, dealing with a fetal anomaly and so needing to seek abortion care because they're seeing that their potentially wanted pregnancy is not going to survive past birth, or folks who are learning that continuing that pregnancy is going to cause health problems for them. So we see folks coming in from many states across the East Coast to access care here in Maryland. For example, we see folks from Georgia, South Carolina, New York, traveling into this area for care. And that's completely legal. People are able to cross state lines. They're able to travel to access abortion care that would not necessarily be available to them in their home state. And we do see that regularly in this area. So thankfully, we're really, really lucky here, right? We've got access to a lot of care that is not necessarily available in other states. And so I wanted to give you some examples of the ways that other states have kind of put restrictions into place that we are very grateful to not have here. So there's something called TRAP laws, which are targeted regulation of abortion provider laws. And TRAP laws are something that a lot of other states are putting into place. And they can be a lot of different things. For example, regulating how tall the grass has to be outside of an abortion clinic. That's an example of a TRAP law. Requiring abortion providers to have admitting privileges at a local hospital is another example of a TRAP law. Unfortunately, because abortion is an extremely safe procedure, so there's only complications in 0.24% of first trimester procedures and 0.42% of second trimester procedures. Most abortion providers don't ever have to admit patients to a hospital. And so there's no reason for them to have admitting privileges at a local hospital. And hospitals only allow doctors to have admitting privileges if they're going to admit a certain number of patients. So this is not something that people are able to get. So really the real reason for TRAP laws is to regulate abortion providers out of existence. And thankfully here in Maryland, we don't have any of those type of laws. We also don't have any medically unnecessary laws that we're seeing in other states, such as waiting periods. So I'm sure you've seen that in some other states, folks have to wait potentially 24 to 72 hours between having an ultrasound and actually being able to get their procedure. This is another example of a law that is designed to make it really challenging for folks to access abortion care. Here in Maryland, there is no waiting period. You can go in and have your ultrasound and have your procedure on the same day, depending on how far along you are. Another example of a medically unnecessary thing that some states are putting into practice is a required script that providers have to read that has medically inaccurate information. So for example, some states require a provider to read a script that says that having an abortion can cause infertility or breast cancer, for which there is no medical evidence to support that. But unfortunately, some states are requiring people to read those types of scripts. So thankfully here in Maryland, we have really good access compared to a lot of other states, and we don't require our abortion providers to meet a lot of these medically unnecessary laws that we're seeing in some other states around us.